Hello, beautiful people. This is Freedom Fighter. Thank you for tuning into our channel, Goldilocks Global Banking News. Everybody knows that Goldilocks is the number one source for the RVGCR. People from around the world tune in to see what Goldilocks is sharing on the RVGCR. Don't miss your chance and get your latest updates every day. So like, share, and subscribe to this channel to get your daily podcast from the Goldilocks articles on the RVGCR. Brought to you by Freedom Fighter. Hello, beautiful people. This is Freedom Fighter, and welcome to Goldilocks Global Banking News. I am your host. Folks, Goldilocks is sharing today how global currencies and global currency exchange rates are being influenced very heavily right now. Also, Goldilocks shares today the most recent updates about what Vietnam is now doing. This is a recent update that Vietnam just reported, moving towards the strength of the Vietnamese dong, and what other major global institutions are now doing related to the dong. These are the big money players. Let's jump right into what Goldilocks is sharing today. Goldilocks is stating is that yes, a collective system reset, a collective system reset or a collective reset, often described as a gradual, policy driven rebalancing of the global monetary framework, is already influencing global currency exchange rates. Let me give it to you straight between the eyes. What Goldilocks is stating is that a global reset is already influencing global currency exchange rates. As the world moves away from the US dollar, this combined with the technological shifts and rising debt in the world is driving significant volatility and revaluation in foreign exchange markets. So what Goldilocks is stating is that as more and more countries begin to shift away from utilizing the US dollar and utilizing their own currencies more, it's driving the revaluation in the currency, in the foreign currency exchange markets. So think of it as cause and effect with everything, especially in the global financial world. Cause and effect. So the cause that has occurred for countries to ditch the US dollar to begin utilizing their own currencies, it has created a ripple effect, created more debt around the world, more inflation in some parts. The effect, right now, it's showing the revaluation in foreign exchange markets. This is the Forex market that is beginning to be moved. It's the effect of the cause. What's the cause? Countries moving away from the US dollar, beginning to utilize their own currencies more. So this cause has an effect. Foreign exchange markets are now affected by the cause. Global currency markets are experiencing, Goldilocks is sharing, a significant recalibration driven by central bank policies, such as the Central Bank of Vietnam, such as the Central Bank of Iran, Iraq, and and geopolitical tensions, and the shifting of investment flows toward local currency bond markets, meaning towards the bonds that back the currencies. These are the real government bonds, not collectibles. Goldilocks continues. Investors are diversifying their portfolios, meaning no, 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 no. Don't think of yourself, me, and everyone else that are not the global institution investors. No, 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 no. What Goldilocks is referring to, that investors are diversifying away from the US dollar. This is the major global institutions, financial institutions. And what's happening is the old traditional role of the old banking system is beginning to lose its grip. Right now, the major global investors are favoring emerging market currencies, specifically within the Asian region, for foreign currencies around the world. What Goldilocks is being very clear about is that your major investors, such as your BlackRocks and Vanguards, are pumping billions of dollars into emerging market currencies, into emerging markets in general. Despite broader economic indicators showing moderation, Goldilocks is sharing, such as stabilizing growth around 2% in the US, the stock markets are showing massive investments in AI in emerging markets. Meanwhile, Goldilocks is stating gold has emerged as a complementary force in market dynamics as a commodity to back all foreign currencies. This has positioned gold not just as a hedge, but as a leverage tool in portfolios. In the Forex space specifically, these shifts are beginning to influence currency exchange rates. Goldilocks is stating and showing that foreign currency exchange rates are beginning to be influenced. A weakening dollar, particularly, detached from the old traditional systems as countries shift towards their own currencies and AI. It's favoring other foreign currencies. While not yet a full equilibrium across sectors, Goldilocks is stating these forces are fostering greater cross-asset correlations with countries and currencies. Overall, AI and gold are increasingly intertwined as leading market drivers throughout the world in foreign currency markets. It's literally a reshaping right now of the global financial system. Your BlackRocks, your Vanguards, your big money players, they're at the forefront of moving the systems. Then Goldilocks is sharing on Vietnam. Several months ago, Goldilocks shared that Vietnam created what's called a Vietnam International Financial Center, which is a financial hub of foreign investors, fintech companies, financial service companies. And right now, Vietnam is actively courting global financial expertise to accelerate this even more. During a high-level working visit to the United States just this month in March, the Deputy Prime Minister of Vietnam engaged with several senior executives from major institutions, including Deutsche Bank, Morgan Stanley, BlackRock, Franklin Templeton, and others. At a dedicated business roundtable in New York, the Vietnamese officials presented this financial hub framework in Vietnam, centered in the Ho Chi Minh City, which is the location. They're focused on traditional capital markets and banking, attracting more and more investors into Vietnam because these investors are pumping billions into Vietnamese bonds, which will strengthen the value of the Vietnamese dong. In return, Goldilocks is stating, these financial firms provided detailed policy recommendations on upgrading market infrastructure in Vietnam and international standards, enhancing transparency and liquidity in Vietnam, refining foreign ownership rules so that as foreign investors, they're not as restricted as once before in Vietnam from investing. Vietnamese leaders welcomed the input by these major financial institutions, reaffirming commitments to a stable, transparent, and investor friendly environment in Vietnam, inviting firms to become pioneers in Vietnam. The initiative reflects Vietnam's broader push to integrate more deeply with global financial networks, attract high quality foreign capital, and build domestic capabilities in governance, technology, and human resources for the Vietnamese economy. Vietnam is, if I can think of a term, they're on a global tour right now, attracting more and more major financial institutions, pumping more and more billions of dollars. Collectively will be trillions of dollars into the Vietnamese economy. And what that does, think of cause and effect. The cause of that will have a profound effect on the backing and the strength and stability of the Vietnamese dong in the global markets to create a very stronger, more stable Vietnamese dong and to support a higher rate on the Vietnamese dong exchange rate. This is the organic way for exchange rates through supply and demand to begin taking shape in the Forex markets. When you follow these facts that Goldilocks is sharing with the actual proof, it gives you a level of peace and a greater position to be prepared for your blessing coming. Be well, be kind, be in love, folks. We love you. Ciao.
Hello, beautiful people. This is Freedom Fighter. Thank you for tuning into our channel, Goldilocks Global Banking News. Everybody knows that Goldilocks is the #1 source for the RVGCR. People from around the world tune in to see what Goldilocks is sharing on the RVGCR. Don't miss your chance and get your latest updates every day. So like, share, and subscribe to this channel to get your daily podcast from the Goldilocks articles on the RVGCR. Brought to you by Freedom Fighter.